Hey folks, welcome back to Indaba Africa once again. And today, interesting news out of Zimbabwe, actually out of South Africa, but it's about Zimbabwe, where once again the malicious child, the inconvenient youth, the leader, the grand poobah of the economic freedom fighters, one Julius Malema, has put his big toe into the sea. And the response from Zimbabwe's government has been swift and resounding. So it puts me in mind of a song from my childhood. You guys may remember this, the Scooby-Doo song. And I've written my own lyrics, so give me a little leeway here as I try to do my lyrics to the Scooby-Doo song with an acoustical version in the background. So here we go. Hey Juju, where are you? We got some work to do now. Hey Juju, where are you? We don't need no help from you now. Come on, Juju, I see you, pretending you've got a clue. But you're not fooling me, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver. There you go, folks. That's the Scooby-Doo song, Juju, where are you? Well, Juju is in the mix again, ladies and gentlemen, on the heels of Zimbabwe's bizarre announcement last week, which to me, honestly, appears to be nothing more than smoke and mirrors, and an effort to deflect from the crisis and the crackdown that took place in Zimbabwe last week. We saw the government of Emerson Mnangagwa announce that they were paying $3.5 billion to compensate commercial farmers, almost entirely all white commercial farmers, who were dispossessed, defrauded, and had their land stolen from them, not to mention those who lost their lives and their farm workers who were also murdered during the violent farm seizures that started in the summer of 2000. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, $3.5 billion. Now, this isn't for the land. The government of Zimbabwe will not compensate for the land based on a 2013 change to their constitution. They can compensate for improvements and equipment that was lost as a consequence of the violent invasions. So in an effort to settle this long-running dispute over 2 decades now, Mnangagwa's government has agreed to pay $3.5 billion. But of course, as I said in my previous video on Zimbabwe, there's no money, folks. There's no money. So where is it going to come from? Well, Julius Malema stepped into this late last week, complaining about the $3.5 billion compensation package for mostly white commercial farmers. Harare's ambassador to Pretoria, David Hamadidziripa, is that right? Hamadidziripa, said the following about Julius Malema's interference. He said that while the embassy and the government of Zimbabwe have previously been restrained in responding to many of the provocative statements issued by the economic freedom fighters about Zimbabwe, on this occasion, we cannot remain silent in the face of the EFF's pretentiousness to know more about the history and politics of Zimbabwe than the Zimbabweans themselves. Even more, the EFF has the audacity to dare to teach Zimbabweans, even our head of state, about the land question in our country. Ouch, ladies and gentlemen, ouch. Stinging rebuke for Julius Malema of the Economic Freedom Fighters. In fact, over the weekend, Permanent Secretary in the Information Ministry, Nick Mangwana, said that Malema was carrying the water for the formerly powerful G40 faction led by Grace Mugabe, Robert Mugabe's widow. Yes, the now disgraced and powerless G40 faction within ZANU-PF. This is what Mangwana said, Nick Mangwana said about Julius Malema's efforts to intervene and stick his nose into events in Zimbabwe. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You cannot make it up. So moving on, Malema attacked President Emerson Mnangagwa with very, very snarky comments. So he said the following. He said that that he was either ignorant or had bowed to pressure from the white supremacist world. Malema also questioned where cash-strapped Zimbabwe would get the money for the massive project. Well, on that point, I do agree with Julius Malema. Where will Zimbabwe get this money? Doesn't have it. Talks about issuing long-term bonds and then begging the world to pay for its crimes. Yeah, so we agree, but for different reasons, Juju. So, the white supremacist world. Would that be the white supremacist world, Malema, that protected these commercial farmers and made sure their farms were never stolen? That David Stevens, Martin Olds, and countless others weren't murdered? No. This fictional racist narrative from a race merchant like Julius Malema, no. Simply not true. Simply not true. Always, when in doubt, turn to race. That's what you do, Juju. So, Juju went on to say, we are of the firm view that Mnangagwa is either deeply misinformed about the real causes of the crisis in Zimbabwe or is simply capitulating to pressure. I submit to you, Juju, that Emerson Mnangagwa is fully aware the reason the country is in the crapper, in the rubbish bin of history, and it owes entirely to his government and his party's malfeasance and malgovernance in Zimbabwe. He's well aware of that. Once again, we agree, but we don't agree for the same reason. Juju continued by saying, either way, this treasonous act of paying white settlers money that Zimbabwe does not have will not resolve the crisis in Zimbabwe, which is essentially a political crisis resulting from years of mismanagement, at the center of which Mnangagwa features prominently. Well, again, Julius Malema and I agree, partially, on the last part about it being mismanagement of the country by ZANU-PF. But the race-inspired effort to divide people based on skin pigmentation in the race merchant game that we see playing here once again, treasonous act of paying people who were robbed of their land by government-sanctioned violence and by the government itself. By the way, for Mr. Malema, since you seem very uninformed about events in Zimbabwe, 42% of all commercial farmland in Zimbabwe owned by commercial farmers, white and black, was purchased after 1980 with the consent and approval of the government of Zimbabwe under Prime Minister Robert Gabriel Mugabe and then President Robert Gabriel Mugabe and ZANU-PF, later ZANU-PF after it crushed and destroyed ZAPU from Joshua Nkoma's party. Yes, 42% of all commercial farmland. Not stolen, not settlers, people who are Zimbabwean citizens, accepted loyalty to Zimbabwe, and bought their land with the approval of the government. No theft there. Get your facts right, Rocco. Stop your race merchant game. For their part, this is what the government has to say. The signing of this global compensation agreement is a significant step in the coming together of Zimbabweans in efforts to bring a finality, a long outstanding, highly emotive and divisive issue. This agreement should be welcomed by those who genuinely wish Zimbabwe well. Yeah, well, except that we know it's not going to happen, so don't hold your breath on that. There you go, economic freedom fighters, Julius Malema, as if there's not enough to do in South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, as if the pandemic is not causing widespread chaos and misery. And what is exactly the economic freedom fighters have done during this crisis? Out handing out food parcels, coming up with alternative policy recommendations, going out registering people to vote? No, they haven't been doing any of these things, at least in measure enough that anyone's noticed it. They simply doing bizarre little concerts from Floyd Shivumbu's house. Don't know what that's all about. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, the inconvenient youth, Julius Malema, also known as Juju, is out there making it happen. So Juju, this is for you. Anyway, so thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this broadcast. I hope that you found this interesting and provocative, or at least mildly entertaining, as I jumbled the lyrics for the Scooby-Doo song, and hey Juju, where are you? Anyway, that's my video on this strange topic, seeing the ZANU-PF party going against economic freedom for South Africa. Once again, the malcontent Julius Malema has tried to interject himself in foreign politics like he did in Botswana and like he's now doing once again in Zimbabwe. Folks, thank you for tuning in. If you are not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe to the channel by smashing that button right down there, subscription button. And be sure to toggle that bell icon because that'll get you notifications of my future videos and live streams. And finally, or not finally, but if you'd like to comment on the video, please leave your comments. I do my best to read them all. Finally, I ask that you like the video, smash that like button because likes drive viewership. So thank you so much for listening to my Scooby-Doo, Hey Juju, Where Are You video.